I'm doing okay. How are you? You're looking pretty good for someone I thought was dead.
Well, likewise. I mean, I knew you survived the Tyrant invasion and the events that followed, but then... nothing.
I've been traveling. You?
The same. I've been back to Mercuria a few times, but I've never stayed long. Oh, I reckon the invasion got me thinking about how much I hadn't seen and experienced. Besides, my head was stuck in the bottle, so time was ripe for a change of pace. And a change of pace I got. I've been to the four corners of the world, quite literally.
So what are you doing at the Journeyman?
Just revisiting old haunts, and hoping to score a cup of Ben Rimé's mulled wine, of course. How about yourself?
Same thing. I'm in the city for only a few days.
Well, even more fortuitous that we bumped into each other then.
So you've been traveling for the past decade?
I have, and I intend to keep traveling for the next decade or two, as long as I have my health. This world is fascinating.
You look so much better since the last time I met you. Younger, healthier, happier.
I do feel fantastic. I was bitter and angry back then. Angry at myself at being stuck in this world. Now I don't see Arcadia as a prison anymore. I see it as an opportunity to grow and learn and experience. I'd forgotten why I crossed the divide in the first place. I wanted to go where few had gone, where there were still untrodden paths. Losing my home, being forced to run, it was certainly an awakening, and one I sorely needed.
Speaking of coincidences, maybe you can help me with something.
Absolutely. What do you need?
There's something going on, something that may be affecting both worlds.
Why, Ms. Ryan, you seem to get drawn into these things every time. Can you be any more specific?
It's more a feeling than anything else, so I need to confirm my suspicions. Or, preferably, disprove them. I need to speak with the Guardian.
Who better to tell you if anything's happening with the balance? So, why not just shift there?
I can't. I've lost the power to shift. But it was never that easy to get to the Guardian's realm in the first place. So to find the Guardian, I need a little help from someone else. The White Dragon.
Oh, yes. I'd imagine she could give you some pointers.
The problem is I don't know where to find her. She could be anywhere.
Not so. I may know where to find her. I met a fellow traveler, a Dolmari from the Rose Court, actually, on a ship from Gien to Irhad not long ago. He told me he'd been to the Dark People's Library. Not many people are allowed there, and it was a great privilege. While he was there, however, he said that he was introduced to a pale, white-haired woman who introduced herself as the White of the Dryken. Now, I don't know if she's still there or how you'll get to the Dark People's City, but it should at least get you on the right path.
It does. Thank you, Brian. This is very helpful. It was good seeing you again. Are you staying long?
Another week, perhaps. Enough time to visit friends and to pick up some things that I can't get elsewhere in this world. Then it's off to sea again. I've been thinking about heading east, perhaps convincing a whale rider to take me along on a hunt.
Sounds exciting. Take care, Brian.
And you, Ms. Ryan? April. Now, I have business with the innkeeper. So, how about it, Ben Rime? Do you have a cup or four of your mulled wine to spare for an old drunkard?
As I remember it, Westhouse, you still owe me money on your tab from before the war.
My God, you have the memory of a stickman. Ms. Salmon, I've honestly missed this place. Hell, you're probably right. I owed a lot of people money back then. Seeing as I'm still a bit short on cash, you'll have to add this to my tab. But I'm coming into some gold tomorrow. Old debts repaid, so I'll settle it then.
That'll be the day the Azadi decide to just up and leave. Money first. Mulled wine after.
You're a tough woman, and I respect that. I have to tell you about this tavern I visited in a town near Autobahn.
Okay. Ich dachte schon, die hören nie auf zu quatschen. Nee, ihr Lieben, ich muss zugeben, ich habe überhaupt keine Ahnung mehr, was ich machen muss, wo wir sind und ich weiß gar nichts mehr.
Which turned out to be fermented pig's blood. he couldn't stand up straight for 3 days.
Southlanders. So you have visited Autobahn and Mount Terba.
I've been further south still, to the Capes and beyond. I tell you, if you think the winter here is harsh, you should count your lucky stars. There are lands beyond the South Sea that are frozen through both winter and summer. The sun is as cold as the moon down there.
Well, I do not intend to leave Mercuria. There's enough foreigners here. No need to travel for months to find more of them.
Okay. Ich habe keine Ahnung mehr, was ich eigentlich machen muss, aber ich verlasse einfach mal das Haus. Ich habe so lange jetzt nicht mehr gespielt, ohne Scheiß. Ich hab eigentlich überhaupt keine Ahnung, was ich tun muss.
It's just a child.
I want to be a soldier when I grow up, with a uniform and everything.
There are soldiers everywhere. The Azadi think that will protect them against terrorist threat? They're mistaken. The Azadi have brought their steam technology to Mercuria, and now everyone's installing these noisy machines. Balance knows what these things actually do. Sooner or later, Arcadia will end up looking like Stark. It's just a question of time.
Okay, ich habe keine Ahnung, wo es hier lang geht, aber ich komme da zum ersten Mal lang.
Potions, herbs, curiously shaped cookies.
Who's that?
You don't see a lot of Zid in Mercuria these days.
Weil ich möchte mit dir reden.
Conditions in the ghetto aren't bad, all things considered. We got food and water, and there's medicine and herbs for everyone. What we don't have is freedom.
Oh, wer braucht schon Freiheiten heutzutage?
There used to be thousands of Dolmari in Mercuria. Nowadays you'll only find them in Old Town, and there are few left.
What do the Azadi want from us? Why have they stuck us in here? We haven't done anything to them, and we can't help who we are.
Das stimmt, ihr seid nun mal als das geboren, als was ihr geboren seid.
She's Zid.
Old Town's getting too crowded. It just wasn't built to house so many people.
For potions, herbs, curiously shaped cookies, everything a wizard, witch, or warlock may require, using only the finest organic ingredients, elguan bladders, rat tails, dung.
They've kept the blue flame burning here in Old Town for 1,000 years, apparently. It didn't even go out when the tyrant held the city.
Bedeutet das, dass ich zu diesem Kerl gehen muss?
Wait, that man. He looks very familiar. Why am I thinking of moving stairways? Good God, Roper Clacks.
At your service, milady. What may I do for... Wait. I know you. Where do I know you from? April. April Ryan.
Oh, well...
How lovely to see you.
Say what?
It's been too long, my dear. Too long.
Yeah. I guess it's been... long.
What have you been up to?
This and that.
How lovely. Me? I'm rehabilitated.
Wie kann ein böser Zauberer rehabilitiert werden?
Rehabilitated? How so?
Being soundly walloped by you was the best thing that ever happened to me.
Really?
Oh, yes. It gave me perspective, time to think. When I finally escaped that confounding device, I joined WWWA. Wicked Witches and Warlocks Anonymous. It's a marvelous support group for wizarding professionals.
Oh.
Oh, it helped tremendously to find others who shared my affliction.
Affliction?
A desire for evil deeds and world domination, your basic, EDWD syndrome.
I see. And now?
Cured! I'm free of my desire to conquer and control, and I'm happy to be a simple merchant and published author.
I guess that's a good thing.
It is. It is indeed. So, April Ryan, is there anything I can do to help repay what you did for me?
Mein What the fuck Gesicht ist gerade.
You said something about being an author?
I published one. I wrote my memoirs a few years ago. Farewell to My Wizarding Days by Roper F. Clacks.
What's the F stand for?
Nothing. It just looked better on the cover. Anyway, as it turned out, the first and only print run had a slight problem. A small charm made its way onto page 108. When readers got to that page, the book, as misfortune would have it, exploded.
And you had nothing to do with that.
Me? Absolutely not. I've been acquitted of all charges, and every single lawsuit has been dismissed in the magical court. I'm quite innocent. It does mean, however, that only one copy of Farewell to My Wizarding Days by Roper F. Clacks exists, and that would be mine. I've decharmed it, and page 108 is quite safe to read now, if you're interested.
Not really, no.
Okay, ich brauche seine Hilfe.
I actually do need some help.
That's great! Anything to assist the woman who turned my life around.
I'm looking for a way to get to the city of the Dark People.
Visiting old friends, I take it? Your adventures are the stuff of legends, April Ryan. By the way, did you ever read that pamphlet they published? The one with the amusing drawings? April Rye Bread and the Rod of Joy?
Unfortunately, no.
Well, I'll never forget that illustration where the Dolmari lady takes the Rod of Joy and sticks it right...
Anyway, about the Dark People City.
Ah, yes. What do you plan on doing there?
I need to visit their library.
The library? Indeed. They are collectors, these dark people. They collect all sorts of knowledge, arcane, forbidden knowledge. Anyway, as luck would have it, there's a shadow ship docked down in the harbor right now. I'm sure they'll let the famous April Ryan, I'm sure they will give you passage to their city.
That's perfect, thank you. How did you get out of that calculator I trapped you in?
I had to learn advanced trigonometry. After that, it was as easy as multiplying the root of pi with the volume of my mathematical prison.
Oh, that sounds pretty complicated.
It took me 5 years, but I gained some important personal skills in the process. I even had time to write a book, so it was all for the best.
How do I get to the Dark People's library again?
Oh, there's a shadow ship docked in Shady Quay. Be your charming self, and I'm sure they will give you passage to their city.
Thanks.
At your service, milady. If you ever need a potion or a charm, visit Roper's Spells and Filtres.
Ich finde ihn sehr komisch. Muss offenbar aus dem ersten Teil sein. Wo bin ich nochmal hergekommen? I don't know, ich glaube von da hinten. Also müsste ich jetzt eigentlich... Entschuldigung, junger Mann, könnten Sie mal... Dankeschön. offensichtlich schien er im ersten Teil unser Gegner zu sein. Was ich irgendwie recht interessant finde. Wo muss ich denn jetzt überhaupt hin?
Serving all your spice needs. We've got spices. Mrs. Mullins.
The local girls are very friendly. I guess you like men in armor.
Mit Sicherheit. Wir Frauen stehen alle auf Männer in Uniform. Ist euch das noch nie aufgefallen? Also, liebe Männerwelt, wenn ihr Frauen aufreißen wollt, zieht eine Uniform an. Wirkt immer.
Crabben used to be a lively neighborhood, but all the non-humans have been forcibly moved to Old Town and the streets completely deserted. Someone lives here. No doubt driven out of their home by the Azadi.
Ich habe keine Ahnung, wo ich hin muss. Das ist gerade ein bisschen blöd, aber okay. Ich renne hier jetzt einfach mal. Muss ich hier hin?
Solid stuff. They're magical too. Completely unbreakable.
Nein, offensichtlich bin ich hier nicht richtig. Also, machen wir noch ein wenig weiter. Ich habe auch das dumme Gefühl, dieses Spiel wird länger, als ich erwartet habe. Wir haben ja jetzt schon 10 Folgen zusammen. Ich glaube, ich habe gerade mal die Hälfte von dem, was ich hätte schaffen müssen. Und ja, ich bleibe immer noch dabei, dass ich April Ryan einfach nicht mag. Ich weiß nicht, warum, sie ist mir sehr unsympathisch. Es gibt sympathischere Menschen in diesem Spiel.
Best spices in Mercuria.
Gucken wir doch mal hier hoch. Ich habe keine Ahnung, wo hier Schiff und so sein soll. Wenn es so groß ist, der Platz hier nur auch wieder nicht, ne? Die steht da normalerweise nicht rum.
She's a funny old girl.
I just don't understand all this fuss about freedom and democracy. What's so different about Mercuria now that the Azadi run things? It smells the same to me.
Das macht Sinn, es riecht sehr wahrscheinlich auch immer noch sehr gleich. Naja, über diese ganzen rassentypischen Mist will ich mich jetzt eigentlich gar nicht auslassen. Leider gibt es das auch in realen Welten immer wieder. Wird es immer geben. I don't know.
I hope to see you again soon, Ms. Ryan. Best of luck to you.
I'm sure you will find the white of the kin. You are April Ryan, after all.
Thanks for letting us stay here. I know you're taking a big risk by doing that.
I accepted that risk a long time ago, April. I could not simply stand idly by and let the Azadi terrorize my friends and customers. This is my small way of helping the rebels. I'm more useful here than I would be with a sword. I just hope that my contribution will have some effect, and that one day our city and peoples will be free again.
What do you make of Naane? She's not been with us long, but she has proven to be an invaluable asset.
An asset? Is this what you call your compatriots? I have not spoken with her much, but she is a skilled artisan. Her magic is strong.
I think she wants to ensure that the Azadi don't proceed any further east. I believe her family holds a high position in the Irhad.
It would make sense for the Sun Empire to rally their armies now, to halt the expansion. But I think the Emperor still hopes for a peaceful solution.
The Six will never accept the hand of a Domari ruler. Does the Rose Court think that the Azadi will grant them exemption from their ban on magic? It's naive. And it's dangerous.
So it is. But all we can do is plead with them to see reason. If more Irhadians do what Naane has done, we might change the course of this war.
Have you spoken to Chuan about the charms?
I did. And they've already been loaded onto the ship. I believe there were 50 of them, enough to get you through the winter. Chuan seems to have changed this past year. There's less anger in him. He seems more concerned with delivering the supplies than murdering Azadi.
I think he's found some peace in the swamplands. And there's a woman, Ayala.
Ah, I see. It is time he left his past behind, to mourn so many for so long.
If anyone has the right to stay angry, it's him. The Azadi took everything from him, killed everyone he loved, enslaved him, and forced him to join their army.
And yet he decides to leave his anger behind and forge a new life for himself. Maybe you have something to learn from him, April.
I'm not him, Benrime. We all find peace in different ways.
And some not at all.
Ja, und manche niemals.
I hope Bryn hasn't caused any trouble for you. He's a bit hot-headed.
Bryn is a lovely boy. He's been courteous and sweet. He absolutely adores you, April. I hope you realize how much you mean to him.
I saved his life. Or at least I gave him one. He was orphaned and there was no one to look after him.
You did a good thing. But when you save someone's life, especially a child's life, you are also taking responsibility for that life. You may not care much for your own life anymore, April. But for his sake, you need to take care. You need to find something to live for again.
I have something to live for. Revenge.
Revenge is not enough. And it's just another excuse. So the Azadi have murdered friends and loved ones. For that they must pay. But that is not something to live for, April. Nor is it something to die for. What happens when the enemy is banished? What then?
There's no point thinking that far ahead.
Oh Gott, sie ist aber auch stur. Ich weiß nicht, sie muss ja irgendwen... Ich kenne den ersten Teil nicht. Gerade bereue ich es, weil sie scheint ja mal anders gewesen zu sein. Aber sie ist so kalt, sie muss ja... Weiß ich nicht, ob die ihren Freund oder ihren Geliebten getötet haben. Irgendwas muss da ja passiert sein, weil sonst wäre sie ja nicht so kalt.